JDiv is back at it, here to give everyone another UFC predictions video as we have UFC 270 taking place on Saturday, January 22nd. Just going to give my predictions for the main card. Of course, card subject to change. Before I do that, though, if you're a fan of UFC and you like watching UFC fight reactions and you like prediction videos for UFC fights, don't forget to smash that like button to help out with the YouTube algorithm. If you want to share this predictions video with any of your social media platforms or with that friend that you know that likes watching fights, go ahead and do that. Don't forget to sound off in the comments section about what your thoughts are, what your predictions are, or future fights that you want to see. And of course, last but certainly not least, to help me out, obviously the goal is to subscribe. So if you can subscribe to the channel, join the team, and show your support, that would be greatly appreciated. So starting off in the UFC Bantamweight Division, we have Said Nurmagomedov versus Cody Stamann. I think Nurmagomedov is going to win this fight. He's got the height advantage. He's got a pretty big reach advantage, and I think Stamann might be a little overwhelmed. Of course, anything can happen, but that's where I'm going with this one. In the UFC heavyweight division, we have Greg Hardy versus Sergey Spivak. I'm not sure why Greg Hardy is still getting pay-per-view main card appearances. With that said, I think Sergey is going to beat Greg Hardy. Just my opinion. Of course, again, anything could happen. This is a late replacement fight in the UFC welterweight division. We have Andre Filo versus Michael Pereira. I think Andre Filo is going to win this fight. I think Pereira taking a fight on short notice, or taking this particular fight on short notice, is going to possibly mess things up, and I think he's going to lose the fight. Of course, it could go either way. Next up in the co-main event of the evening, the Flyweight Championship is on the line as the champion, Brandon Moreno, faces the former champion, Deiveson Figueiredo. I was a little surprised that Figueiredo lost the last fight. I thought, personally, that he would be a dominant champion in this division. Maybe not to the degree of Demetrius Johnson, but something similar to that. But Brandon Moreno came to fight and pretty much dominated that last fight. And of course, they had the first fight, which was a draw, and actually I have not seen that fight yet. I know, that was one card that I didn't order. So I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think Figueiredo is a lot better. I like the fact that he lost the last fight. He showed a lot of class, and that was nice because he was pictured as the villain going into that fight. You know, UFC fights now have heels and faces in them, it seems. But I'm going to go with Figueiredo. I think he's going to win back the Flyweight Championship. Brandon Moreno is really good. I just think Figueiredo is going to come up with a different game plan and win back that championship, and I expect him to be the new Flyweight champion. And in the main event of the evening, the undisputed heavyweight championship is on the line as the interim champion, Ciryl Gane, faces off against the champion, Francis Ngannou. This is currently the last fight on Francis Ngannou's UFC contract. He wants a lot of money and the option to box if he resigns. Not sure if that's going to happen. Doesn't really play into my prediction. I just thought I'd mention that. Francis Ngannou defended a few takedowns against Stipe Miocic, and now people are labeling him as the greatest fighter ever. Some people at least are. I don't know about that. I don't think Stipe is as good as Ciryl Gane. I think Ciryl Gane would beat Stipe Miocic, even though Stipe is considered the greatest heavyweight of all time. I think that Ciryl Gane hasn't shown all the things that he can do. Obviously, if Francis Ngannou lands that bomb that he typically does land, the fight might be over with. But Derek Lewis didn't land that bomb that typically ends his fights, or a few bombs. So, based on what I know, keep in mind that Ciryl Gane is a former training partner of Francis Ngannou, and he might know a little bit more about him, things that haven't got out yet about Francis Ngannou as far as training for fights. And I know that Ngannou is a different fighter than he was, but I'm going to choose Ciryl Gane in this fight. I know it's a bold prediction. I just feel like he can potentially do a lot more than he's done so far. And I think if he can get on Ngannou right away, possibly take him down or swarm him like he did Derek Lewis, I think he's going to win the fight and be crowned the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, and possibly go on to face John Jones for the heavyweight championship of the world. So what did you think of my predictions? I know a few of them are bold. I am predicting 2 new champions to be crowned at UFC 270. Of course, Again, if you're a fan of UFC and UFC predictions and MMA in general, go ahead and smash that like button to help out with the YouTube algorithm. That is always hard to figure out. Share the video across any of your social media platforms. And hey, if you think these predictions are ridiculous, you can always say, this guy made the most stupidest predictions, and I don't get them all right, that's for sure. Sound off in the comment section about what you think, your predictions on the fight, the card itself, or any other predictions for future UFC fights that are scheduled to happen. And of course, last but certainly not least, if you're a fan of this kind of stuff, subscribe to the channel. Helps me out. Join the team. Show your damn support and be a part of something special. And JDev will return.